Hello, you beautiful tea minds. Welcome to the Tea Crane. I'm Tia Sosen. I know that a lot of you are often wondering or worrying about how to store your matcha properly. If you don't store your matcha properly, then it might go bad or start to deteriorate over time, and you want to keep it as fresh as long as possible. Now, the thing with matcha is that in Japan, it's hardly ever stored in its powder form. It's always stored as the tencha leaf, and then when it's needed, it is pulverized. Because when the matcha is pulverized, it will become much more prone to oxidation, starting to go brown, degradation, and become bad. So if you preserve it in a leaf form, you can keep it for much longer. So with that in mind, knowing that when you buy matcha powder, it is not predestined to be preserved for a long time, you need to know that you want to consume it as quickly as possible. So that is the most important thing to know with matcha, and that's why you get smaller amounts, 30 grams, 40 grams. Knowing that, you will want to drink your matcha as quickly as possible. But of course, you're not going to drink everything in one day. So what to look out for when you're going to store your matcha and how to store it properly? Well, I usually use the following parameters to decide which application or how I'm going to store my tea. First of all, if I'm going to be consuming it every day and I'll finish it within a month or even 2 months, I will just leave it out. Usually the tea comes in a can, and I would keep it in the can, store it in the can, and take it out whenever it's needed, and that's how I would consume it. Now, if I'm a less regular consumer, or if I have a tea that is special that I might use only once a week for a tea ceremony occasion, then I would preserve it in the fridge. And not just keeping it in the fridge is enough. I would preserve it in a canister and then put it in a Ziploc bag to put it in a fridge. And preferably, I would choose a fridge that doesn't have any odors, because tea is very absorbent. And so that means that a lot of odors that are around in the fridge will be absorbed by the tea, and if it's got cheese or if it's got fish, it will get a cheesy or a fishy flavor. And of course you want to avoid that. So that's why I put it again in a double Ziploc, or at least in something airtight where those odors cannot penetrate. Now, if I say it's a tea that I'm not going to consume immediately, or I have it only once a month and I want to keep some for 1 or 2 months later, then the best approach is to go with putting your tea in a freezer. Keeping the tea in the freezer will hardly change its composition at all. But of course, you need to keep it very airtight and locked in. Now, very important to know with the fridge and the freezer is that when you keep your tea in the fridge, you will want to let the tea acclimatize before you use it. You don't want to take the can out of the fridge and open it immediately, because of the temperature difference, the condensation will get on the inside of your can, and over time that humidity will also affect your tea for the worse. The same goes for taking your tea out of the freezer. Only the temperature with the freezer is much colder, so you'll want to let it acclimatize for longer. So what I usually take as a parameter is, when I take the tea out of the fridge, I will let it acclimatize for 1 hour. And if it's a tea that I have taken out of the freezer, I will let it acclimatize for about 1 day. So I'll take it out the day before I'm going to use it. This gives you 3 options and also makes it possible for you to choose which application is better for your type of consumption. Do you have it every day or at a very regular basis, and you're going to consume your matcha in a month to maybe 2 months? Then I would say don't bother with storing it in any specific way. Keep it out, because also putting it in and out the fridge is going to affect your tea because of the temperature differences and exposing it to to air, etc. again as well. So if you just keep it out and only take out when you need it, what you need, then you won't have any difficulties with preserving your tea for the duration that you need it to be fresh. If you are a less regular consumer and you only have it, say, once a week, then I would say keep it in the fridge, but make sure that no odors can get to it and that you let it acclimatize before you open it. So before you're going to have your matcha, set the can out and then use it after an hour. If you're going to store it for a longer period, then store it in a freezer. If you keep it in a shelf, so immediately you can use it whenever you want it to, still keep in mind that you want to keep it in a dry and dark place. That's exactly what the fridge does, and also you want to keep it away from too much heat. If it's summer and it's very hot and humid out, you might want to think perhaps about storing it in a fridge instead, because keeping it out in the open is not a good approach. So keeping these things in mind is very important. Think about, if you store it, is it hot? Yes or no? Is it humid? Yes or no? Because these two things are going to affect the oxidation of the tea. And then, is it dark enough, or is the tea exposed to light? Because light also causes the tea to oxidize. So you want to make sure that it's stored in a dark, cool space. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other suggestions, or let me know if any of these techniques helped you storing your matcha better. I'll be happy to hear from you. Leave a comment, and also if you enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you get updated on new notifications, and see you in the next video at the Tea Crane. Enjoy your matcha.